I just wanted to do a quick video about how I'm doing right now. Having a lot of problems with PTSD that are preventing me from streaming or really living at all, interacting, having fun. Right now, I'm caught in a flashback that's agonizing, and it's just like it feels like different areas of my body where I was stun gunned are being like tickled almost. It's just a very extreme feeling, but it's not quite pain, but it feels awful. I just want to curl into myself and die. Some of my muscles like expand and contract a little bit, like they're being stunned. It's agonizing. Um, so I'm dealing with that. I deal with a lot of. It's like I can have up to five different memories of being stunned or otherwise traumatized in the back of my mind, and I like re-experience it physically to varying degrees. And when I have a real flashback, it's like so bad that I kind of just want to die. So it's really difficult. I called a detective and framed Kurt Hugenberg as a serial rapist that said that he has other victims, which he did. There were two occasions where Kurt raped me, where I had very clear memories of it the next day as a certain alternate identity. My main identity, though, didn't start flashing back to the event. Well, the second event in 2018, I remembered immediately after in all identities. But in 2014, I only remembered it in certain identities, but then I started flashing back to it a year later. So I've been inconsistent in how I've reported that, but I feel like it is very significant to delineate that, yeah, the amnesia was different between events, and there was kind of this, like, I mean, only a part of me remembered it. So, like, it's very honest and very accurate, and I wonder if that can help, like, pin down, I don't know, maybe what I was knocked out with. I don't know. But, so yeah, I remembered Kurt being involved in some type of trafficking ring, like the people up in Toledo. But I also remembered him raping me, just like irrespective of the ring. I just had these like very consistent flashbacks connected to these trauma memories that were connected to very consistent. Like in 2014, I had a rape kit done that said that I had been raped. So the memory correlated to this rape kit. And then later, I had a second incident where I had very clear injuries in 2018, and so yeah, I'm very nervous about talking to the detective. I don't know how much they're going to be able to do. So yeah, I don't know. He called me back though. I was really impressed. Usually when I talk to the police, they take my report. Well, actually, ever since I had injuries of being abducted. Oh yeah, I was abducted last month. I'm starting to have flashbacks of it. The people from Toledo, I guess, have seen my internet output and like made fun of me while gang raping and stun gunning me, and they stun gunned my spine again. So I feel like horrible. I just feel really ill. My muscles feel terrible. I'm 92 pounds now. I've lost weight. I'm just so stressed out. I don't feel like eating. And I'm having cataplexy right now, which is with narcolepsy. So I'm really tired and I'm like really floppy. So the whole thing just sucks. So I'm kind of ill, and that's why I can't. Look at this. This is why I'm on fucking disability. I can't even play video games. That's how fucking crippled I am. I cannot have daily content. I wanted to. Every day I wake up, I'm like, I'm gonna stream for like an hour or maybe even more, and it's like, I fucking can't though. I'm that ill. I got stun gunned into oblivion. God, those things ought to be illegal. Man, I'd rather get shot by a gun. Oh, these things are horrible and they have long term effects. And these people, at least the people from Toledo, kept threatening to murder me with them long term. Like, if you stun gun somebody on the head every night for 10 years, I mean, and then they have a stroke, like, this is the sort of thing they were going for. Like, they just wanted to stun gun me repeatedly all over my body for like years until I died and like had horrible health problems from it. Anyway, I'm having cataplexy. It's a narcolepsy symptom. It's terrible. I hate this. I'm not normal. I want to be a high powered businesswoman, you know? A professor with a research lab. That's what I want. And then I also write books, fantasy novels in my spare time because I'm so high powered that I have to have two incredibly fulfilling careers. But no, I'm really crippled and I'm having two different conditions happen to me right now. The PTSD is triggering cataplexy. The cataplexy is different from the stun gunning where I re experience being stunned, by the way. That feels like my muscles are expanding and contracting and it's painful. This is cataplexy. It's like I'm only having partial cataplexy, but it's like I lost my muscle tone. It's like partial sleep paralysis, so I'm all kinds of fucked up right now. I should probably return the detective's phone call though. So yeah, that was interesting. I called a detective about Kurt Hugen. Well, I didn't call a detective. I called Bloomington PD about the 2018 incident, and then mentioned that there was a rape kit from the 2014 incident, and then I got patched into a detective. That means they're definitely investigating. In Oak Harbor, where I often make terrible allegations in a child identity state because I'm very stressed out and other stuff like that, I just sometimes, I mean, they're polite. I mean, they do take my reports, they do reassure me they're investigating, but like, man, I have an investigation number. I've got the detective, he's got a desk. I gotta go talk to my therapist and tell him to call him, and I have to sign a release form so that he can talk about my sensitive mental health because, you know, we have HIPAA. So the police could call my therapist, but really my therapist can't tell them, I think, much of anything. I think they might be able to say something like, no, actually, I don't think they can even confirm or deny that I am the patient. I don't think they can even do that. So, but if you sign a release form, then the therapist can tell all, which is great. I think my therapist probably is my best foot forward, honestly. Probably can explain things way better than me. He's very good. I have 3 mental health professionals, but and I felt so embarrassed trying to explain this to the detective. It's like, yeah, I've got a psychiatrist and a second trauma therapist, but so many people have stun gunned and raped me that I haven't gotten to talking about Kurt Hugenberg with them yet because that happened so long ago. 2014, 2018, guys. Um, but so yeah, so I just, even though I think Kurt Hugenberg is a trafficker and I've got like 50 other memories besides the 2 that I reported, those 2 I'm really certain about, and he definitely raped and stun gunned and I guess abducted me and drugged me. So he definitely did that in these memories, and I'm not trying to say like there's trafficking, but we had a conversation where it seemed like he was knocking out his wife and another student. So that kind of is indicative that my trafficking memories are real. That I went through drug facilitated trafficking where they tried to knock me out every single fucking time they trafficked me, and some things were not repressed. Like the time I got knocked out my apartment, the guy, after raping me and battering me, broke my aloe plant. I wake up with the injuries all over my fucking body, and then I go into my living room and my aloe plant is in fact destroyed, just like in my repressed memories of rape that I kept waking up with every morning. So, it's stressful. They got me like a lot of times, I guess, but have you ever heard of that? Drug facilitated trafficking? Human trafficking's pretty nasty, so I'm sure it's happened, but a lot of the stuff that I see online, it's like I was never there voluntarily. I was never paid money. Like that this was part of the thing for them, like trying to gaslight me into thinking this situation was not happening. There was a real sadistic element of that. Well, anyway, so the detective, after initially talking to me, called me back to touch base with me. So I have no idea what that's about, but he's probably got something on his mind that he has to ask me about. Okay, so that's what's going on now. More police investigation stuff. The FBI called a second time because my alternate identities, my fucking god, my child alters keep giving FBI anonymous tips and they're so fucking bad. I'm having bad flashbacks whenever I get them and like give these tips. And like my flashbacks are so bad, like I have flashbacks of stuff like being stun gunned near my eyes and my vision blurs out when I have these flashbacks. So I'll be having this fucking nasty ass flashback where I can't even see the form. It's like my child alters will bring up the FBI form and it's like, I can't see the form! Help me, FBI! I'm a child alter in the background. But that's basically what's happening. I don't mean to make fun of myself, but like, imagine being in level 10 pain like your kidneys just exploded or you're having childbirth, because that's also painful. And just imagine that's all going on in your head. You feel like you're being murdered all over again. You've got the FBI anonymous tip form. It's like, help me, FBI, I'm dying. My God, they're never gonna fucking investigate. I give the worst fucking reports when I'm flashing back. I'm just deranged because they knocked me out with drugs and I'm really confused and I can't see because my vision blurs out. It's so weird. Okay, well, anyway, I'm a very particular alternate identity. I'm a part of Kylee. Most of my alters have more than one alter because I was like so battered that they like split additional times. So I'm trying to like be better about that, but how do you just integrate? I need to integrate. I read a research article that said that like they got a bunch of people with my type of PTSD. Like whenever they flash back, they re-experience the pain and it's really bad. And in the study, they said that the pain could be less bad than in the memory or just as bad as when it happened. So this is like in PTSD, you can physically hallucinate what happened to you in the past, but in the present. And yeah, and this paper was like, this is unique to PTSD. So anyway, they got these people with these somatic flashbacks, these pain flashbacks, and then they had them process the memory by, I guess, just focusing on the trauma memory when it would happen. So instead of shying away from, actually, they had this guy from the Boston Marathon bombing, and like, I guess his arm got burned, and that was his flashback. He re-experiences his arm getting burned in an explosion. But anyway, even he had a significant reduction to elimination in symptoms, but I didn't quite understand what they were instructing the participants to do. I think what it was they wanted the participants to just like think about the memory. So I guess when you're flashback, it's just like, yes, and focus on the horrible pain of, but you know, they did experience a reduction to an elimination in some cases of the pain flashbacks. So I am hoping that I can have this as well because they're very bad and I don't know how much longer I can live with this. I live in terror of the next really bad pain flashback, but I almost always have like 5 heavy flashbacks partially expressed in the back of my mind, and those are so bad. I feel the vertigo even. It's almost like being high and I'm not doing anything. It's just like 5 different vertigo flashbacks just all happening at once, and then sometimes they come to the forefront as like a really, really bad flashback, so that's how I know what it is, because then I see the whole event crystal clear. Flashback memory is not like normal memory. It's like photographic, dude. It is in extreme, and when I flash back, I have no doubt this stuff happened, but when I'm not flashing back, I can be very wishy-washy and be like, did anything even happen? It's like, yeah, it fucking did, and like several times a day, I go through bad flashbacks to reassure me of this. But there are so many different abusers, like, a bunch. I don't feel like counting. There's a bunch of them, like 30 maybe. But, you know, I've had sex with more than 80 people, 5 of which were women, approximately 5. Yeah, I had to keep lists because I often, like, forget stuff. But, you know, I don't have post-traumatic flashbacks of my consensual experiences. I just kind of forget them, like I forget all of the good movies that I have watched throughout the years, so. But I tallied my lists together, and if you count oral and vaginal as both different forms of sex, I've had consensual sex with more than 80 people, and it was wonderful and beautiful, and I appreciated every single one of those bright, shining individuals that I had fun with for whatever length of time. But yeah, so about that, I have no STDs either. I was always very good about keeping condoms with me. It is possible, folks. By the way, the average number of sex partners is like 4 to 7. Why? Do you just not have a high sex drive like me? I don't get that. Why would you do that to yourself? STDs are not that big of a deal, guys. Just use condoms. I've never had one, and I've had sex with 80 dudes and 5 chicks. Actually, it's more than 5, but I don't feel like sitting down and counting. Well, anyway, this is a great note to leave everything off on. This is how I'm doing right now. My cataplexy is a lot better, but I hate talking when I have cataplexy and stun gun flashbacks because it affects my body language and like my facial expressions. Like even just smiling and stuff feels weird and tickly and bad and painful. So I don't like streaming or even talking to people like this. Also, LOL at this wig. I was deeply curious as to what I would look like if I was blonde. I think probably my natural dark brown to black hair color is better, but you know, it's nice for a change of pace. It's only like 20 bucks. I can have fun every now and then. Okay, this is a sufficient video. 14 minutes? That sounds good. Take care, everybody.